Here we have a Triumph Speedmaster 2003. Customers brought it in because he wanted to change the ignition pickup here because he's getting a bit of a misfire and he's been advised to change the pickup, but he couldn't get the engine casing off, and in particular two bottom bolts under here, which I've just put back in just to show you which ones they were. This one was tight, managed to get it out though. This one in front of it snapped off, and that's why he brought it into me, because he knew if it snapped I'd be able to get the bits out. Had two options: try and drill it or weld a nut to it. Now I wanted to try and drill it first because I wasn't too sure about this engine casing. I didn't want to put too much pressure on it by trying to undo that stud, but I couldn't get the exhaust off. That would have caused me more problems. The header bolts were too tight, so I had to go down the option of welding a nut on the end. And as you can see, obviously I've done the job already because I can't hold a camera and weld at the same time. So took the silencer off, got that out of the way. That was the one bit that could come out. Just put a couple of alley plates and steel plates over surfaces to stop any weld spatter. Welded it's an M6 stud, but I welded an M8 nut on it, and as you can see, it gives you that little bit more room to get a good amount of weld on, because you get a little gap between the nut and the stud. You can get some weld down the side there, and then weld that on. And this is where you need to be really patient, because once you've got that welded on, walk away, go and have a cup of tea, go and do whatever, leave it a chance to cool down, because that bolt will swell up even more in the casing, make it even tighter. Once it's cooled off, it will shrink away a little bit, and then come back to it, get your spanner on there, your socket, whatever can go on there, and again, patience, work it backwards and forwards very gently. Plenty of freeing agent, WD, whatever you want to use, and just be patient, and eventually your patience will pay off and it will come out. So now all I've got to do is run a tap down those bottom threads just to clean them up. But if I just take that off, shine a torch behind here, you might be able to see, you can actually see through that. And this is the problem with these two holes, they're not blind holes. The back of the hole is open to the elements, so the water and everything gets in there, moisture, air, and it corrodes, and that's what causes those bottom bolts to seize and go tight. So when I put this back together, that'll have copious amounts of copper grease in there. So hopefully in another 20 years time, if someone has to take this casing off, those bottom bolts will come undone. But now that's done, I can clean this gasket off, put the new igniter on, and then get this back together.